What you think makes our collaboration so special?
In a different life, we would have grew up together. We'd have been friends in school. You know what I'm saying? Like we probably wouldn't have gotten a lot of work done. You know, being in the same class.
We got work done.
Yeah.
You know.
Nah.
But you like to work, bro. That's I think that's a big part of it. Is we both about the work. You know what I'm saying? As much as we joking and play when it's time to work, is we get it done. And I admire that about you because you're very professional. You know what I'm saying? Like you set a good example on set. And I think that's been actually the thing that's been the most exciting about seeing you mature as an actor. Is watching you go from Fruitvale when we were kids. And you were a very professional young man. Like you had done so much. You know what I'm saying? In your career already because you started when you were young. But there is a difference between you on that set and you on this set. We just finished up on this film. I'm actually really excited for audiences to see what you've done.
Appreciate that, man.
And for folks who've kind of grown up watching you to see you at this new stage.
That's love. Yeah. I mean, I can say the same thing. I think when I first met you, you always felt and seemed so much older and more mature than I was. It was like, man, this dude got his shit together, man. He got, you know what I'm saying? It felt like, you had most of the answers, or you knew exactly what you were doing, and it always it always made me feel safe in situations where I was, taking a creative swing or stepping outside my comfort zone. You always made me feel like I could do anything. And I think that type of reassurance and confidence, help build my own self-confidence, over the years. And, I remember in Fruitvale, it was a lot of uncomfortable situations, you know what I mean? And scenes and moments we were trying to capture. And you were always right there next to Rachel or next to me. And, you always put yourself in a situation and do it. If you asked me to do it, you was going to do it yourself. So that always kind of set the standard for me, for what I expected from a leader, from a director on set. And as I moved on to other projects and I took that work ethic and that experience with me, I always compared, that was always the bar that I was comparing it to was our work relationship, which is extremely unfair to a lot of people. Oh, but at the same time, it let me know the level at which I wanted to work and the level the seriousness I took the craft and what we were trying to accomplish. So I think it's also our ability to talk real to one another. There was never no BS.
Right.
We always,
right.
If we had an issue or not even an issue, something that we wanted to know and want clarity on, we could always kind of connect on that and get through it.
Yeah.
So that felt empowering.
Absolutely.
How do you think I challenge you creatively on set, or just in general?
I'm a writer director, so I would say a lot of times with the movies that we've done, with any movie, I watched the film in my head before we've casted it and shot it and what I think the transition between script to screen is where the actors come into play. And I think you are very you're a gifted actor, very sharp technician. But you also have storytelling instincts. You know what I'm saying? And that's a very necessary aspect to the craft of acting. Where the challenge comes into play is when actors bring things that maybe I haven't thought of as a writer. And sometimes it might be an improv line, or sometimes it might be an instinct of what's not needed, or an instinct of what is needed. And I can think of a few times where you would have a thought about something being false, or maybe a blocking thing where it's like, hey man, what if I came here instead? I find you to be really, really great at that. And in those moments, it is challenging. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like what do I do with this idea? What do I do with this thought? What do I do with this instinct? And I think a big part of becoming better at my job, you know, is understanding, oh, this is where the good stuff is. You know what I mean? And the natural charisma that you bring. But it's also the discernment, right? You know what I'm saying? Like the discernment for what's a false moment, for what's maybe not needed, for maybe what is. You know, it's a lesson, right? That all right, when this happens, man, you listen, open your ears up. You know what I'm saying? She would this artist is trying to say or put across. So I think that you know that's actually like the biggest challenge, I would say.
Okay.
But it's also like a welcome lesson in it. Like, you know, for me it was something that I hold on to.
You were one of the first directors that I worked with that really listened to what I really had to say, or like the instincts in that type of way, or didn't. You know, this one's for you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
have fun on this. You know
Totally.
what I'm saying? Or you know, let's try it that way. Okay, cool. That the best idea kind of wins. You know what I'm saying? And that type of approach is not you know.
I mean,
everybody's thing.
Well, I mean, it's hard, man. Like when you know, 'cause you often behind.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You often
Yeah.
gotta get to the next thing, and you might have it in your head like, oh yeah, we got it. You know what I'm saying? But not like a suggestion from an actor can feel extra sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Or when it's a deviation, you know, you had an urge to panic. Oh no, this is not. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's not how I saw it. It's not how I saw it.
Yeah, I'm wasting time. But yeah, like I think the lesson in it was that actually ends up being the goal.
The good stuff.
You know? Yeah.
Yep.
We've been gone a long time. We back now. You twins? Nah, we cousins.
So I mean, you did a lot of work on this one. I think more work than we've done together. Maybe more work than you've ever done. Specifically, with playing two different people.
Yeah.
What do you hope audiences take away from that?
It's interesting because I'm still processing the two of them, and it usually takes a minute to kind of
Shake a character off.
and I got it's two of them
Two
now.
characters you gotta shake off. Yeah.
It's so weird. I never had to speak about characters in this way because it's like they both live inside me. You know what I'm saying? Stack is a bit more free. He takes a lot more risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I always got an idea or a scheme, or could see a way things work, which I thought was a lot of fun. I never had an opportunity to play a character like that before.
Yeah.
And Smoke being more the older one, that more execution based, more thinking long term. You know what I'm saying? How exactly we going to get this done? You know, like survivalist in a lot of ways, and hopefully people could take away, you know, the passion, the persistence of these two characters that, you know, no matter what, they were going to look out for one another. You know what I'm saying? And playing twins, like, they kind of have hive minds, you know, and emotions on certain things. So, you know, I guess for any one person, if they're looking at both those characters, hopefully they see a little bit of themselves in both of them. And hopefully people take that away. And then also the love they got for the people around them, you know, and their family and their friends. Like, the love is a big thing in this. You know, they really they care deeply about their family and close friends. So yeah, I hope people take a little bit of all that. I mean, the movie is so rich and the characters are so rich and so layered. It's like I want them to, you know,
Appreciate it all.
Yeah, you know, and I think we did a great job at you know, you did a great job at building these characters to be, you know, universal and 360 in a lot of ways, but being very specific to, you know, to themselves as well. So that's a tough thing to do. Why do you feel like it's important to protect Black culture?
Yeah.
I know it's not an easy question to answer.
No, it's not, man. It's a profound question. I think for me as a filmmaker, it's not something that one person should take on, right? You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of protecting or preserving a culture. You know, everybody got their role in that, right? You know, cinema is a beautiful art form, man. It's been around about a century, right? So as terms of an artistic medium, it's relatively young. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of human history, and before a good part of those 100 years, the power of cinema has kind of been wielded against our culture. It's a long history of filmmakers of our culture that you know, fighting against those ties, that maybe marginalize our stories or just flat out ignore them, you know.
Yep.
And at worst, portray them in a skewed light, you know, that obscures the truth or the whole truth, you know. I'm blessed to be able to make these movies and to tell these stories, and I'm just blessed to have a job, you know what I'm saying, and but even more blessed that people show up, you know, when we make them, you know. That's something that I'll never want to take for granted. And while I had this opportunity, you know, it's my job to portray the culture as what it is, you know, as what it really and truly is in the medium, and also, you know, what it could be.
Yeah, I think you've been doing a great job. You know what I'm saying? The movie, you know what I'm saying? The movies, the characters and the stories that you choose to tell, and what you want to put your lens onto.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, it's been, you know, all very, very personal, and I know the culture and the community. You know, when they watch your movies and they films, they see a piece of themselves of what is, what has been, and what could be. And I think that's really, you know, it's not an easy thing to do, and you've been doing it, you know what I'm saying, to the highest level, you know, and it's been great to be a part of it.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
I know you love all types of movies. You're a real cinephile. But what was it like stepping into the horror genre this time?
It was stepping into horror this time around, first time in this genre.
That's crazy. You made a lot of movies,
A lot of films.
a lot of TV. You know, it's first time in the horror.
It's the one genre I don't personally gravitate to off top. So I don't
Right.
personally watch a lot of horror films.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Why not?
because I don't enjoy being scared.
You don't like being scared?
Nah, it's not one of my things. And like,
What's
in good movies,
your go-to when you scared? You throw the popcorn up and
it's one of them. I'm down.
You like-
I'm just
stressed out.
down here. I'm down here. I'm like, oh, that happened. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
when you was coming up, did you hit them open at night? Like go out and like
No way.
That's
No,
crazy.
that wasn't. I wasn't. My
crazy.
sister, my mom, all day.
They love it.
Love it. Love all the horror movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for so when you first hit me, in the back of my head, I was like, oh, this is gonna be how I get over horror movies. Like, this is it. If I make one, I see how it's made. You know what I'm saying? I'll be good to go.
It's so much fun to make. Right? wasn't it fun?
It was a lot of fun. It was. I think
It's so much fun.
It is, because most of the time we had to stop ourselves from laughing.
Yeah.
It was so much
It's
fun.
hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. And like the most dire moments, it's the most fun and the most comical.
Yeah.
I would say the one thing that I did not look forward to, and I
know it's coming.
Oh man, is the blood element.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The sticky blood.
That was tough for you.
It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, that's something I didn't look forward to doing.
I used to have to like keep from laughing at your reactions sometimes, bro. When you was covering it, bro, because you really didn't like it, and like I didn't know you had a problem with it.
I didn't know how to
told
problem
me.
with it. Yeah.
Like Zinzi pulled me to the side, like, hey, we got a problem, and I'm thinking like, you know,
It's a real problem.
Well, I mean, it is a real
No,
problem.
no, I hear you.
But I'm thinking like it's like something, just disastrous. The way she looked, she was like, "Hey, Mike doesn't like having blood on him," and I'm like, "Huh?" And she's like, "No, he really doesn't like it. Like it's a problem."
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
I'm like, "Oh man."
And there was a lot of blood in this one. There was a lot of blood in this
lot
one.
of
Yeah,
blood.
it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's
What
how,
is it?
that's
It's
how I
like the
feel.
sensation of it. Or,
It's the stickiness of it. It's like
Yeah.
having like a sticky wet T-shirt on,
Yeah.
or just, and then
yeah, nobody was into it.
no, I hear
None
you.
of the actors. No,
Yeah.
but you was especially like, yeah, this is crazy.
Because it dries in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then
The
you got to
water,
reapply
spray
more on it, spray
water,
water
bro.
on it. Oh man, it's dousing. Anyway,
Yeah,
but
bro.
outside of that,
Yeah, I saw
It was great. It was good.
Yeah. Oh man.
for you, first time, directing a horror,
Mm-hmm.
how'd you feel stepping into that genre for the first time?
I loved it.
Loved it? Okay.
Yeah, but I like movies in general. It's something about that. It's something about the horror genre that just cuts deeper maybe than any genre.
Okay.
And for me, my favorite experiences, like when I look back, are experiences where like everybody was scared. You know what I mean? Like in the theater, like even in movies that aren't horror movies. Like if somebody said, "Hey, is Jurassic Park a horror movie?" You'd be like, "Nah."
Got you.
But if somebody was like, "Hey man, what scenes do you remember in Jurassic Park?" It's the water rippling.
For sure.
the T-Rex coming out, like where is he? You know,
For sure.
you know, like the Velociraptor opening the door. You know, like and I'm from, you know what I'm saying, like I grew up watching movies in Oakland and Richmond in the Bay Area, and like, you know, theaters in the 90s, bruh, 2000s, chock full of black people. You know what I'm saying?
Talking to the screen, you know what I'm saying?
And horror movies is when they talk to the screen the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know, don't go in there.
No, what you doing?
He's
Run,
like,
girl, run.
Hey, get him. I'll never forget. We went to see Halloween, one of these Halloween movies. Century 16. We in there opening night, bro. It's packed, and it's getting late in the movie. And then you think Michael Myers is dead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then he popped back up, and it's just this auntie. She say, "Yeah, baby, back like I never left." Bro. And I'm like, man, this auntie in here cheering for Michael Myers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know? So
That's dope. That's great.
It's a dream for a director to make something that's got that type of audience engagement.
Definitely.
It's got that type of electricity. It's got people
Covering
like,
their eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like ready to walk out, but they want to say this shit was gonna happen. So I loved it, man. Like I'm not gonna lie, bro. I might not ever go back. You know what I'm saying?
No, we had a lot of fun, man. Oh man, a lot of laughs, bro.
Yeah.
That's good.
I was just thinking. I said, man, what's the biggest lesson that you as a black man have learned in the entertainment industry?
It's a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
You know, I think constantly learning, still learning.
What's the most important when you would say, like, for somebody looking to get into it, like thinking about dedicating their life to the craft? You know what I'm saying?
I would say it's never just a job. You know, I don't think it's never just like one role. It's never just, oh, I'll just do this and keep it pushing. I think every choice that you make means something.
Right.
And
Right.
and can potentially always mean something. You know?
Beautiful.
I think there's like a intentionality that you need to have. And you're defined by what you say no to. You know, I think it's okay to say no to things. Even though a lot of times we feel like we can't.
Yeah.
You know,
because it's scarce, right?
Because when's the next opportunity gonna come around? I've auditioned for so many. I heard so many no's. I finally get a yes. Now I need to take that yes.
Scarcity can breed desperation.
I think so, and in doing so, sometimes you put yourself on a trajectory, or you are viewed a certain style or a type of actor that will limit the opportunities that you get in the future.
Yes.
I think that's something that I paid attention to fairly young, and tried to make good decisions and choices. Now, granted, you know, and this is how I feel. You know, what's for you is for you, and what's not for you is not for you. You know, because, you know, just because you say you want this type of career or you want these type of roles doesn't mean that somebody's going to hire you for those type of roles and you'll get those type of jobs. Like it's not equal in that type of way.
Right.
In this industry.
Right.
So making every opportunity that you step on set count.
Yep.
It means something.
Yep.
And how you treat people. You know, I think your reputation, your word, you know, your name, how people speak about you when you're not in the room. Obviously, there's a lot of that you have no control over. You know what I'm saying? Right. But at the same time, you know, how you treat somebody as an actor, you know, to a PA to you know Teamsters to hair and makeup, the crafty. You know, that all carries with you throughout your career. So I would say that you know, one of the biggest lessons also is, you know, that PA is not always going to be a PA. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, that assistant ain't always going to be an assistant. That's a future executive. That's a future director. That's a future, you know, department head. So you always want to
kindness.
Yep. Always lead with kindness. I mean, and I'm sure, you know, I always give you flowers, you know, but you know, I've never seen you raise your voice, and we've been in some pretty high stake situations. You know, a lot of things going on. no sleep, no rest, you know what I'm saying? You know, stressed out, and you always kind of, you know, have a moment to take a breath, or you pull somebody to the side, you have a conversation. You always set an example that way, so that's, you know, I know a lot of people who speak about those experiences with you as well. You know, when you're not in the room, and it's always at the highest level, and it just goes to a testament of who you are and how you treat people, and you know how that comes back around. Yeah, but as a director, you know, what was, you know, and as a director, you yourself as a black man, what's like the biggest lesson that I think you've learned in the entertainment industry?
One of the more important, it's hard for me to say right here what the biggest one is, but one of the more important ones, I think, is that black people, we have a very unique relationship to art and commerce. And this film is about that in a major way. Somehow, our country became the major arbiter, contributor to global pop culture, right? And though we were subjugated, somehow everything that is considered cool or interesting or artistic that the country was able to pipe out, somehow we were at the center of that. You know, even though we were in the position that we were in,
systemically,
music, you know, fine arts, fashion, somehow we was always right the center of that. You know, how we make art, how we consume it, what we think, what moves us, what doesn't, and that relationship is like something that's very special and has to be, I think, respected. You have to constantly be aware of it, you know, and what it can mean when you step into, you know, rooms where a lot of power is, but maybe you aren't as represented as you would hope. You know, part of this lesson is like I ask myself, man, like, you know, why is Do the Right Thing so good? What makes Spike Spike? You know what I'm saying? And you know, and understanding that is helpful. Like when you talked about exercising discernment over what you do and what you don't do. I've heard Denzel say the exact same thing. Chadwick, rest in peace, will say the exact same thing. What they talking about is maintaining their dignity. You know, even though it was scarce, and through you guys maintaining your dignity, the dignity of the audience, us as a people who want to go see these movies is maintained. Does that make sense?
Tons.
That connection for a black artist is much different from that connection from a white artist, right?
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
Like not as much as resting on
that decision, that choice,
what one does or doesn't do,
what thinks about that role, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
You know, it is different for us.
Correct.
You know, and you have to operate knowing that. You know what I'm saying?